Hi there and welcome to today's tutorial on primary economic activities, and in today's tutorial we're going to look at water, or sometimes known as the water cycle or the hydrological cycle. Before I go on with the lesson, remember if you would like more videos, check out our website www.examrevision.ie. Click on Teach Me Geography and there you will find all the different videos and tutorials that we have. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Twitter and Instagram. So the first thing you need to know is water is a natural and a renewable resource. And we have what is called the water cycle, or sometimes known as the hydrological cycle. So this is what the water cycle looks like, and I'm going to show you how the water cycle actually takes place and how it happens. So we said water is a natural and a renewable resource, and basically it's renewable because it will never run out as long as we as humans manage it correctly. So we'll start off down here, okay? So first of all, with the water in the lakes and in the seas and the rivers, what happens is you get evaporation, okay? And the water is evaporated up because the sun is shining down on it and the water gets evaporated up. When the water starts to rise up, the water vapour rises into the atmosphere, cools, condenses, and so that's when condensation happens and it actually forms into clouds. So all the little water vapour droplets actually collect together and they form clouds. When the cloud gets too full, what happens is we get precipitation. So this is the third stage of the water cycle, precipitation. So the first stage is evaporation, second stage is condensation, the third stage is precipitation, and this is when the water is actually returned back down to the ground. Okay, and this might be through hail, sleet, rain, snow, whatever it might be. And what happens is all the water is then will fall into trees, into the mountains, into the grass, into the rocks, whatever it might be, and this is called runoff, because all the water will eventually run off the mountains or run off the trees and make its way back to either a lake or to a river or back to the sea. And then it's evaporated back up, and the whole process repeats itself over and over. So evaporation is stage 1, condensation stage 2, precipitation stage 3, and runoff is stage 4. So runoff is stage 4. So we're going to look at some case studies. Okay, so the case that we're going to look at is Dublin, and we're going to look at a water supply in Dublin. So the north of Dublin, North Dublin, where does it get its water supply from? Well, it gets its water supply from the Leixlip Reservoir. So from the Leixlip Reservoir. South Dublin, where does it get its water from? Its water supply. And South Dublin gets its water supply from the Brownwood and Pulafuca reservoirs. So Pulafuca might be something that you might remember from when you studied chapter 3, Shaping the Earth's Crust, because Pulafuca was an example of how humans interact with rivers when we looked at rivers. So we're going to focus on Pulafuca, and there's a few different things that you need to know about Pulafuca. So this is like the case study. So the water from the River Liffey is collected by Pulafuca Reservoir. The second point about Pulafuca, the water is piped to Ballymore Eustace water treatment plant to be purified. Then when the water is purified, it's piped to a large reservoir in Saggart, and then to smaller reservoirs around South Dublin. Once the water is purified and piped to Saggart and then to smaller reservoirs in South Dublin, it's then piped to all its consumers. Okay, so we're going to look at threats to our water quality. And there are a few different threats to the quality of our water, and it is so important for us to have clean water for many different reasons, such as healthy lifestyle, for irrigation, so we can irrigate our crops, for industry, and for plants and animals and humans to actually survive and live. We need clean and safe water. So some of the threats that are opposing our water system are the following. So the first one is because of agriculture. So because of farmers. And this is because of fertilizer. So farmers are using lots and lots of different fertilizers now to help their crops grow better and to increase the yield from their land. However, some of these fertilizers now are starting to enter our lakes and rivers because of the surface runoff, or because maybe they spray fertilizer on their crops and then there's a heavy rain, especially in Ireland we get a lot of rain, and then this washes it into the lakes and rivers. The second thing that might is a threat to our water quality is because of industrial waste. And industries often dump their waste into lakes and rivers, and this can really contaminate and be very toxic and poisoning to water life. An example of this would be the River Po has been polluted in this way. The third reason, or the third thing that's a threat to our water supply, is sewage. Sewage is often dumped into our lakes and rivers, and these will cause serious pollution to the rivers, and often it will kill all the marine life. And one of the problems with our water quality being reduced and fertilizer and industrial waste and sewage being let run into our rivers and lakes is that these chemicals will enter the rivers or lakes, and these chemicals are often eaten by plankton. And then what happens is fish eat the plankton, and then finally we actually eat the fish. So it's really, really harmful for not only just the marine life, but also us as humans, because we're getting poor quality water, and some of these chemicals actually may enter our bodies and cause us adverse health and health problems. So what is the importance of clean water? Well, the first one is for humans' health. Okay, it's very important that we have clean water, so that keeps our health intact and doesn't cause us to have any lifestyle like health issues or any lifestyle issues because of us drinking contaminated water. The second thing is that agriculture requires water for irrigation. So it's very, very important that we have access to clean and available water, especially in hot regions such as California, where there's a lot of vineyards and irrigation is needed in times of drought. And the third reason will be because industry requires water, and an example of that in Ireland would be Intel. Intel requires 9 million litres of water every day, which they get from the River Liffey. And industry usually requires water for cooling purposes. And the fourth and final reason is because animals and plants require water to survive. Plants require water to survive. Okay, so we've reached the end of our tutorial. I hope you enjoyed this video tutorial on water. The next stage we'll be looking at of primary economic activities will be based on fishing, and fishing is a very, very important part of primary economic activities, and it's one that regularly comes up on the exam papers. So if you'd like to view that video, please just you can get it on our website, examrevision.ie, or you can get it on our YouTube channel. And please remember, guys, can you follow us on Twitter and Instagram, where you can find out all our latest news.